Alderman Vollmer, Alderwoman Keys, Alderman Browning,
Present.
Alderman Aldridge,
Present.
Chair Schweitzer,
Present.
Alderman Vollmer, Alderwoman Keys. We have 3 present.
Thank you. A quorum being present, I will now move for the approval of the minutes. And I may have said the wrong date earlier, so I do want to note it is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024, not the 24th. But we do need to approve the minutes of January 24th. So I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of January 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Vollmer, Alderwoman Keys, Alderman Browning,
Aye.
Alderman Aldridge,
Aye.
Chair Schweitzer,
Aye.
Alderman Vollmer, Alderwoman Keys. We have 3 aye votes.
By your vote, we've sustained the motion and approved the minutes from Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. Alderwoman Keys has a bill, but is not here yet, so we'll move to item number 2 on the agenda, which is Board Bill number 204, introduced by Alderwoman Pamela Boyd. You are recognized on your bill.
For hearing my bill. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, this is Board Bill 204, and we are bringing it back to you guys in regards to the MoDOT. Let me slow my brain down. To the MoDOT grant, $60,000 that the mayor's office received for driver's ed for the kids in our community. And so it's for any child 16 or older that's in the school system, and they can get it. It'll go up under the Public Safety Committee, Public Safety Department, and they would administer the grant and do the RFPs in regards to that. This grant will help our kids because the issue that we have a lot of times right now, since they stopped doing driver eds in our schools, to help them understand safe driving in our.
Thank you. Do you have anyone to speak on this bill?
Yes, Casey will be in to speak more on it too.
Okay. Ms. Milberg, you're welcome to come up and give your spiel.
Great, wonderful. Do I need to be sworn in or do the thing?
I think you're all good.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're fine. We don't swear in city employees. That's
Okay.
fine.
There you go.
Thank you. Well, for the record, Casey Milberg, Mayor's Office Policy Director, and I first want to start off by thanking Alderwoman Boyd for championing this legislation. This is a bill, as the Alderwoman said, to accept grant funds that were awarded to the City of St. Louis by the Missouri Department of Transportation. Last March, I want to say, March, April, the city applied to MoDOT for funding to improve youth driver safety outcomes in the city of St. Louis by providing access to driver's education services to low-income high school students in the city. And MoDOT very kindly and generously approved $60,000 in funding for a pilot program initiative. This is, to our understanding and their understanding, a first of its kind program in the state, especially for these particular funds. They are excited to see this. We are excited to see this roll out. These funds will be administered by the Department of Public Safety here in the city through the RFP for services process. And I want to go into a little bit of detail about why we as a city decided to apply for these funds, the goals and objectives of this grant, and some other information that might be helpful. Right now, no high schools in the city of St. Louis offer driver's education courses, and we were able to get confirmation through DESE as we were trying to figure out the application for this, that really there aren't a lot of school districts, period, in the state of Missouri that offer this anyway, because when the state cuts education funding and you as a school have to choose between paying your teachers and doing things like driver's ed that aren't necessarily within the core educational curriculum, most schools have chosen to go hard in the educational curriculum and let families figure this out on their own. Right now, the state of Missouri allows drivers to obtain a license by completing a minimum of 40 hours of supervised driving. That does not have to be with an accredited instructor. It can be with a parent, including a minimum of 10 hours of nighttime driving, plus a driving exam administered by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. This does, of course, require potential drivers to show some form of knowledge and competence behind the wheel, but it does not provide our new youth drivers with access to consistent, standardized, and high-quality driver's education. In other words, it may not be as comprehensive and methodical as that would be coming from a professional. It might just be a family member doing the best that they can do for their kid with what time they have to do it. And though private services are available, income disparities do make that option very cost prohibitive for city families, particularly Black families living within the city. We have a recent United States Census data that indicates 19.6% of persons in St. Louis are living in poverty. And we also know the Black city residents are more than 3 times more likely than white residents to live in areas of concentrated poverty in the city. So we are mindful that this is a racial equity issue in the city here too. And we also know that participation in driver's ed courses is shown to prevent crashes. We do have studies that show that young drivers who have not completed driver's ed courses are 75% more likely to get a traffic ticket, 24% more likely to be involved in a fatal injury crash, and 16% more likely to have a crash. And we also know that about 11% of those who took part in driver's education were involved in a car crash, which compared to the rest of that percentage is a significant disparity. We also know that there's data out there showing that driver's ed classes lowered the risk of receiving even a traffic ticket by 40%. So there's a lot of data and evidence and studies out there showing how important this can be. And we also unfortunately have data showing that a lack of access to local affordable driver's education is contributing to consistently dangerous driving outcomes within the city. We have crash data available through the state. The most recent year we have that available for shows that we have thousands and thousands of crashes and injuries and way too many fatalities in the city every year due to traffic crashes, including with our youth. We have state data showing that in 2021, the most recent year for which it's available, 116 people were killed in the state of Missouri in teen driver involved crashes. 48% of teen driver fatal traffic crashes are the result of speeding or driving too fast. 74% of teen occupant vehicle fatalities were unbuckled, and 22 teen lives could have been saved if everyone buckled up. And these are some of the basic foundational skills that you learn in a driver's education course when it's treated like any other education that you receive in school, when there's dedicated time for it, trained professionals. And so the goal of this grant is to provide low-income high school students at high schools, whether you're a traditional public school or charter school. The parameters of the grant just say that you have to be a low-income high school student. We can't narrowly tailor it, nor are we more narrowly tailoring it than that. It is all low-income high school students who would be eligible, providing free driver's education services taught by certified instructors and insured vehicles. So if you don't have one, that's not a barrier. And providing both in-classroom and behind-the-wheel training. So the goal is really to reduce economic and access and resource barriers as much as possible to really empower people to get the training that can give them skills for life that will keep themselves and their passengers safe for forever. So we also know in terms of other outcomes that becoming an educated driver comes with other benefits. It can be an important step towards getting your first job. If you complete a successful driver's education course, many insurance companies offer insurance premiums that are lower for you, so there can be economic benefits to you and to your family as well. So we are very excited as a city to get this pilot program going. We already do plan to re-up the ask with MoDOT next year with the data that we have from this one. And with that, I'll happily turn it over to the bill sponsor, or happy to take any questions as well.
Thank you. And there's no one signed up to speak on this, no written testimony.
No written testimony.
Okay, so with that, and no one signed up to speak. No one else has signed up to. Okay.
No one else is there.
So with that, we'll go through questions then. Alderman Valmer.
No questions, no questions. Streets are very dangerous these days, so anything we do to help make them a little safer would be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Alderwoman Keys, any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I do not have any questions, and I am happy to hear that this is something that's very doable.
Alderman Aldridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, either for the bill sponsor or for Casey. So it's $60,000 that is a grant award from the state, and you said it'd go out to RFP. I'm assuming RFP for schools to be able to apply for this fund, or who would? you-
Driver, companies, people that do driving lessons. The schools wouldn't do the driver classes. Right, it's private, you have people that have driver education schools, so they could apply for it.
Okay, so this could be, I guess, any driver ed program or entities that, because I know the state also have DMV locations where people take their driver's test. Will those be housed in the same place, or is these like organizations that do driver education driving school?
No, it would be a driving school, and I know about that because I know somebody that does driver education. They teach people how to drive. So say you had a driver school, you would apply for it, and then if you awarded it, then you would be able to give the classes. Am I correct?
With a few additions, yeah. So the intent of the RFP is for an organization in the community to serve as sort of the convening site for the classroom component of this, and sort of just the organizational hub for this entire program. And then through whatever organization ends up being selected to do that, that money would then be subcontracted to the private driver's education services that the Alderwoman is talking about. So it would be a community organization that would house the whole operation, no matter what school you're coming from. And then it would be further subcontracted out to the private driver's education services to do in the classroom, and then the behind the wheel training.
Okay, so there is some requirements that with the grant they have to do in classroom, in schools, and also the driving element. And is that, is it only to public, charter, private, or is it all schools?
All schools.
Okay.
So it's before your time. It's before.
Maybe I'll get on the mic.
And so when I was going to school, that's why I say it's before your time. When I was going to school, we had driver's ed. And it was just what she said. It was in the classroom, and then they took you out so many days a week for you to learn how to drive on the road. So it's just like that, only it would be a hub to whatever organization applied for it.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think I'm good for right now. No questions.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Browning.
Thank you. Excited to see us trying to move towards the education component. We know that's one of the 3 E's of traffic safety: education, enforcement, engineering. So as we work on the other 2, it's crucial to get the education component because, these kids will definitely, it helps to know the rules of the road. Those are there to protect all of us, right? It helps to be predictable. It helps to have that experience behind the wheel. And it blows my mind to this day that Missouri does not have this as required curriculum in their public schools. It shows a complete lack of care for our own people in the state. But until we can fix the state legislature, I think we'll have to settle for this. And I appreciate that MoDOT is making this available. It shows that at least some people in the state do care about this. So very excited that we can accept this grant and hopefully provide this service for people who really.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate those questions. Did you all say how many students would be able to take available?
So we estimate 150 students that's a budget of $450 per student. Where we got that figure from, it was, oh, I forget, there's a school district in St. Louis County that did a somewhat similar pilot program during COVID, and they budgeted $350 per student. We factored in potential costs increasing and just wanting to make sure there's a little bit extra for unexpected expenses for students. So $450 per student, about 150 students total.
Okay, and it says on the summary, through enrolled in the St. Louis Public Schools, and I understand you're saying charter or public, so charter or district, public schools. So one of the things recently with the College Kid Savings Program that is that, you know, the schools weren't as interested in working with the program, and it was kind of a whole mess. So do you have commitments from schools, or is it like the guaranteed basic income where these are the people who qualify and people will find out that they qualify, and as long as I mean, what is the information, how is this information getting to parents, to students, I guess?
Sure, yeah. So we reached out to the St. Louis Public Schools shortly after we received notice of this. Folks in our office talked with them about their capacity to run this within the schools, and at that point, it seemed like the model that was just going to be most effective for everybody was to have it be RFP to a offsite community organization that could serve as the hub for the classroom, for the driving services, just to convene everything. But to the question about, are we in contact with them? Yes. Will we work with them to recruit students? Yes. Then same thing with charter public schools as well.
Okay, I don't anticipate you'll have a hard time filling that class. And okay, and is this money that has been available from ODOT for a while, or is this with the result of the gas tax and having more money available for safety programs?
So the reason we have this money in the pool of funding that this comes from, we get this money as a state because the state of Missouri has open container laws that allow for open containers in cars. And so there's a federal law that says, okay, you can do that, but we're going to take a little portion of money we might give you for other highway things and dedicate it towards highway safety initiatives. So the pool of funding comes from the feds, goes to the state for the very specific purpose of highway safety. So long as that law is on the books, rather, this pool of funding will continue to come from the state. It has, to our understanding, when we were researching applying for this grant, to our understanding, it's largely tapped by law enforcement to do a variety of different programs, safety-oriented programming. There are a few communities out there that are starting to tap it for, and I mean, a few, maybe two that we found for, say, bicycle-related efforts. So it's really not tapped for a lot more beyond, you know, traditional law enforcement purposes. But I credit to MoDOT. They were extremely excited about this, very much were very willing to help us think through how an application like this could work, and were very upfront with us that just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it can't be done, and are really excited to see what we can do with this program and if it could be used as a model moving forward for other cities and school districts who might want to do the same.
Thank you very much. I actually, while you were talking, remembered, I think this was like the first thing that you and I ever talked about, standing in chambers when you had just started and you had mentioned this money, because we were talking about driver safety. So I appreciate all that I know that you've done on this, and Alderwoman Boyd, thank you for bringing this forward and moving it through. I think those are all my questions. So, and I thought I saw Alderman Keyes' hand up, but it's down now. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
You actually asked my question.
Okay, fantastic.
Regarding funding and ongoing funding for this. So yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderwoman. With that, Alderwoman Boyd, you're recognized to close.
Thank you, Public Infrastructure, and I ask for your favorable consideration for Board Bill 204.
Thank you. With that, I will entertain a motion for a due pass recommendation of Board Bill number 204.
Second.
I moved that we pass 204 out with the due pass recommendation.
And I believe I heard a second. Wonderful. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Vollmer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keyes.
Aye.
Alderman Browning.
Aye.
Alderman Aldridge.
Aye.
Chair Schweitzer.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes.
Okay, by your vote, we have sustained the motion and we have passed Board Bill number 204 out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Thank you, Alderwoman Boyd. Only one today in front of us. Huge change from normal. Normally, you're the only one up here. All right, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Milberg. Thank you. Alderwoman Keys, you have Board Bill number 148 in front of us. If you're ready to present on that, it's a speed hump bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could I please have the clerk to read the summary?
Board Bill number 148, introduced by Alderwoman Laura Keys. An ordinance directing the Director of Streets to install speed humps pursuant to ordinance number 7033 as amended by ordinance number 71394 to calm the flow of traffic on the 4100 through 4600 blocks of Penrose Street, the 41 through 4600 blocks of Betsy Avenue, the 41 through 4600 blocks of Anderson Avenue, the 41 through 46 blocks of Margaretta Avenue, and the 41 through 4500 blocks of North Taylor Avenue.
Alderman Keys?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. So the speed humps that I am requesting are based on constant speeding. These are unusually long blocks. And the only other area of the city where I can think of that we have blocks that long are between probably Kings Highway and Union, the west side of the street, where those blocks seem to go on forever. Well, we have a similar situation on Margaretta, Bessie, and so forth. And those have been used as literal speedways. And residents constantly reach out about when are we going to get speed humps because they're very concerned about safety as well as property damage. There's one lady that her car has been completely demolished 3 times, and she doesn't have another alternative of, being able to park in a driveway or, in a garage. And so this is a very, very big concern. And so with that, I do ask for your favorable consideration regarding this bill.
Thank you. And we don't have any speakers or any public comment, correct, Madam Clerk?
We have no speakers or written comments.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll move through questions from committee members. Alderman Vollmer.
No questions.
Alderman Keys, guessing you don't have any questions. Alderman Aldred.
No questions.
Vice Chair Browning.
No questions. Hope this solves the problem that you're.
I also do not have any questions. So Alderwoman Keys, you're recognized to close.
Well, thank you all so much, and I do ask for a due pass recommendation on this thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. At this time, I will entertain a due pass recommendation. Board Bill number.
So moved.
Second.
Any call for previous roll?
Previous row.
Hearing no objection to previous roll, we have passed Board Bill number 148 out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Wonderful. So resolutions for review.
We have none.
Committee discussions. We have none. We have none. We already confirmed we do not have any written testimony. Any announcements from members of the committee? Hearing none. Everyone was present today. Good job. Now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Previous row.
Okay.
Second. Previous row.
Hearing no objection to previous roll, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for making it efficient as always. See you next time.
Take care.
Bye.